The reason some of us keep making the same mistakes in business, in love, in friendships, and life in general is because we keep betting on other people. We say to ourselves, oh, he's going to change, she's going to come around. The government is promising to create 1 million jobs this year, so I'm definitely going to be employed. Uncle Sam promised to give me money to start a business. How long have you been waiting on Uncle Sam? How long have you been waiting on that man or that woman to see your value? How long has the government been promising jobs? Your brothers who graduated long before you are still jobless, yet you seem to believe that your case is going to be different and this year you're going to be employed. The big question is, when are you going to bet on yourself and stop putting your future in someone else's hands? Betting on other people is gambling. Betting on yourself is fate. Betting on yourself is opening yourself up to playing a bigger game. And so, in this video, I'll be sharing with you 7 practical tips on how you can bet on yourself. The last tip is by far the most important one in my opinion, so stick around for that one. Hello everyone and welcome to another video. My name is Nikki Verd. I am the voice for those who yearn to upskill, innovate, disrupt the status quo and recreate themselves in a world that's fast changing. I am also the author of the best-selling book, Disrupt Yourself or Be Disrupted. Now, if you are new to my channel, please take a quick moment and hit the subscribe button below. And if you find this video helpful, please hit the like button as well. These actions help support my channel and help me to grow and create more amazing content for you, just like this one. If there was ever a time for people to bet on themselves, it is now. If there's anything 2020 and the pandemic have taught me, it is that I should learn to bet on myself. Nothing is guaranteed. Life is volatile. Technology is changing the world at a very fast pace we've never seen before. The pandemic is wreaking havoc across the world. The economy is unpredictable and people can really be fickle. More than ever, I am now more aware that things can go downhill at the blink of an eye. You can lose your job or your business. People can leave you in the middle of the road. A pandemic can cast a terrifying shadow. Love can turn to hate, and so on. Too many people are hurting, disappointed, and crushed because they are betting on other people or situations. Some people start businesses betting on the government or the economic situations. Some start businesses betting on investors. People go to college betting on government and the private sectors, to provide them jobs as soon as they graduate. Lovers start relationships betting on their partner. Some people start out in life betting on their parents, their uncles, their aunties, or their friends. The point here is that no one has control over the behavior of another human being or the economic situation. You have no control whether or not the next person is going to come through for you with their promises. You have no control over climate change. You have no control over people or economic circumstances, like I've already mentioned. And so in whatever you are embarking on, betting on someone else or anything outside of yourself is a recipe for pain and anxiety. Before we go any further, what does it mean to bet on yourself actually? In simple terms, betting on yourself means having a mindset that says, I'm gonna be okay, whatever happens. I will expand on this in the last point, so stick around for that. I'm actually saving the best tip for last, so don't miss out. Yes, betting on yourself is about choosing yourself and having an unbreakable belief in your own self. Of course, you're going to have doubts from time to time. I certainly do. But you still have to choose to believe in your own potential. Betting on yourself allows you to push through like economic downturns, disappointments, rejections, failure, and every other unpleasant things that life will throw at you. This isn't to suggest that you should be an island. Absolutely not. This isn't to suggest you should never reach out to someone or ask for help when you need it. No, that is not what I am saying. What I am saying is that if you are going to do anything, do it betting on yourself first. Say to yourself, I can do this thing, but whatever happens, I'm going to be okay. And so, here are 7 practical tips to betting on yourself. The very first tip is that you should learn to predict your own reactions. A lot of people are too afraid to step out because they are always trying to predict how other people will react to whatever is it that they are doing. They are trying to predict how the market or the economy will react. They are trying to predict how their friends and family will react. They are trying to predict how the weather or the climate will react, and so on. This isn't to say you should just blindly get into things without doing some form of forecasting. No, this is about having the courage to move ahead in spite of the results of your predictions. No business ever fails on paper. No relationship ever fails on paper. The most important part of forecasting isn't about predicting how accurate others will react, but predicting how you will handle a negative outcome, as well as a positive one, I suppose. It all starts with a simple bet on yourself, a commitment to your future, a willingness to pursue what you love in spite of unfavorable circumstances. Betting on yourself is about this unyielding belief in your own abilities and the discipline to stay focused and follow through no matter what. You've known you your entire life. You know your strengths and your weaknesses. You know your likes and your dislikes. And what is it that you are passionate about? No one else knows but you. Who else is better qualified to do this than you? Who else do you trust more than yourself? Only you know how far you can go in life, because only you know how much you are willing to sacrifice or give up in order to claim the prize of success. Only you understand how much this dream means to you. So stop holding back and go all out. Bet on yourself first. The second point is that you should learn to become your own biggest fan. Just like you would cheer for your favorite sport team, you need to cheer for yourself. Not everyone will clap when you win. Not everyone will compliment you on something great you've achieved. Not everyone will give you a tap on the back when you're finally stepping out, to improve on yourself. Not everyone will leave a positive comment on your content. Some people won't say a word to you about your tenacity, your courage, or your business. The people you expect support from the most are the ones that will go silent on you. In many cases, strangers will celebrate you more than your loved ones. I know this too well, so believe me when I say you have to become your own biggest fan. Bet on yourself. Say to yourself, whether they congratulate me or not, I'm gonna keep going. Again, I will talk more about this on the last point, so stick around for that. The third point is that you should be consistent on your bet. Show up every day. Those who are into gambling or sport betting know that betting isn't a one-time event. So, it is not enough for you to bet on yourself just once. You have to actively bet on yourself every single day. Every single morning you feel like lying in bed for a little longer, get up. Every day you don't feel like going to the gym, go. Every action you take, every decision you make is a bet for or against you. Betting on yourself is about being willing to do the things you don't feel like doing, willing to say the things you don't feel like saying, willing to send emails you don't feel like sending, willing to be misunderstood, willing to be rejected, willing to be mocked, willing to fail, willing to try again and again, willing to be called names, willing to learn and unlearn, willing to pay the price to fulfill your purpose and make an impact in the world. If you are consistent long enough, compounding takes effect and momentum starts to surge. Many of you have seen me bet on myself in recent years through writing regularly online, through building an online community, writing my book, and publicly declaring my intentions. This process has allowed me to push myself further than I ever thought possible. This process has given me exposure that I never thought possible. It has taught me that the safest bet is the one I place on myself. If I was waiting for some political connections or waiting for someone to introduce me to people that matter, I'll probably still be waiting. So I took it upon myself to build my own network. I built UNAVOIDABLE. Yes, of course, I had so much help from people, but I bet on myself first. And if I can do this, so can you. Consistency is key. The fourth point is that you should keep moving forward. Moving is a sign of life. Because of disappointment and traumatic experiences that some people have had in life, they have stopped living and are merely existing. And it would take a bet on self for such people to start living again. It would take an understanding that trauma is part of the process. Betrayal is part of the process. Pain is part of the process. It's impossible to keep moving unless you come to terms with this reality. Life is not a vacation where everything is just one big party and fun. No. It's natural to avoid pain. It's human nature to avoid pain, but pain is often the price we have to pay for growth. Everything that grows experiences some sort of pain. Have you seen how much pain children are in when they are growing their teeth? Life isn't about avoiding heartache or bruises, but about collecting the scars to prove that you showed up for it. As Khalil Gibran said, out of suffering have emerged the strongest souls. The most massive characters are seared with scars. Even God says, I will not cause pain without allowing something new to be born. Purposeful pain is one of the things I've touched and discussed in my book, Disrupt Yourself or Be Disrupted. Get yourself a copy for more on my views on pain and growth. Keep in mind, an easy life inspires nobody. Betting on yourself is about finding that spark again and turning it into flames. Turn the flames into an oven of passion and let that passion drive you to your greatness. Point number 5. Be the main character in your story. Those who realize that no one is coming to save them are the ones who usually step out of their comfort zone much quicker. Other people can afford to stay in their comfort zones because maybe they've got an inheritance waiting for them. Maybe some have connections in the government. Maybe some have rich husbands or wives. Some come from wealthy families. And so they've got this privilege, of having these different characters to their story. And this isn't a bad thing, actually. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. You can't blame someone for being born in a rich family, or for having support. No, it's great to have support, but it's better to bet on yourself and forge your own path in life. Yes, it's great to have support, but it's better to find your own voice. It's great to have people in your corner, but it's better to be able to fight when life puts you in a corner. You can't just sit there and wait for a savior. You can't just sit there and wait for people to give you that golden dream. You've got to get out there and make it happen for yourself. For the most part, life is a do-it-yourself project. No matter how much help you may have or may not have, at the end of it all, you are responsible for who you become. One of the ideas I've shared in my book is that success happens when you change, not when other people change. Number 6. Okay, 6. Okay, number 6. Take risk, take chances. We cannot be talking about betting and risk is out of the equation. The very idea of betting entails a tremendous amount of risk. Betting means putting your specific amount of money or item on a game regardless of the odds. Sports betting involves placing your hard-earned cash on the line, and the risk of you losing that money is actually the leading and most obvious risk. Yet, people still embark on it. I am not in any way endorsing gambling, but simply making a point. And the point is this: you cannot bet on yourself and play it safe at the same time. It is playing it safe that we create a world of utmost insecurities. If you play it safe in your life, you've decided that you don't want to grow anymore. Risk takers don't always follow the path that seems logical. Sometimes, the scarier a leap of faith is, the bigger the rewards are, actually. Choosing the path of safety comes with the fact that you are placing your fate squarely in someone else's hands. A bet on yourself is ridiculously risky, but it opens up more doors to success that otherwise wouldn't be available. On this path, you will encounter many disappointments and failures, many stops and starts, many tears and uncertainty, but the rewards of such a path will be immeasurable if you keep going. Betting on yourself means giving yourself permission to chase your dreams. Yes, You may not always catch these dreams. You will not always win when you bet on yourself, and that's the reality. But at least you can take off your boots at the end of the day knowing you gave it your best. As Mandy Harley said, better to put your heart on the line, risk everything and walk away with nothing than play it safe. Risk and patience go together. It takes patience to do things that don't give immediate returns, like building a website, building a brand, building a sustainable and scalable online business that you are passionate about. These are just examples that will not yield fruits overnight, but will slowly compound over time. Number 7. We are on the last tip, I promise you guys, and this tip is about learning to trust yourself and adopt a survivor's mentality. This is my favorite tip. You know, some people navigate life by putting their bet and trust in other people. And when that trust is broken or betrayed and things come crumbling down, they are so disappointed that they just build a wall and hide themselves from the world. These types of people spend the rest of their lives behind this wall, trying to figure and predict every move of other people so as to minimize any potential for failure or pain. But trust is not about predicting what someone else is going to do. Trust is about knowing you can handle whatever they are going to do. Trust is about betting on yourself, not on people. Trust depends on how strong you are, not how strong the economy is, or how strong the other person is, or how loyal your partner is. We've already established that nothing is guaranteed. Even life has no guarantees, but we don't stop living. Fear, chaos, adversity, and pain are all part of life, but a survivor's mindset makes use of all these adversities. A survivor says, if they respond to my emails or texts or phone calls, great, but if they don't, I'm gonna be okay. A survivor says, if my business partner turns out to be an awesome human being, great, but if he or she turns out to be a traitor, well, I'm gonna be just fine. A survivor says, if my business works out, great, but if the business fails, I'm still gonna be just fine. I will try again. A survivor says, if the one I love reciprocates my love and loyalty, great, but if they don't, I am still gonna be fine. Someone else out there will be so glad they found me. Adopting this mindset won't erase or eliminate pain or disappointments from your life, but it will help you to keep moving every time something goes wrong. It will motivate you to stay alive whenever, things don't work out the way you plan. Some people have vowed never to start a business again, never to marry again, never to love again, never to trust again. But if only they can learn to bet on themselves, they will understand that it is easier to put on slippers than to carpet the whole world. If you can bet on yourself, you can start that business again. If you can bet on yourself, you can open your heart to love again. If you can bet on yourself, you can step out of your comfort zone. If you can bet on yourself, you can let go of friendships and relationships that are holding you back. If you can bet on yourself, you can stop waiting on governments or the economy. If you can bet on yourself, you can create your own economy and play a bigger game with much bigger and wider opportunities. Personally, I've come close to throwing in the towel so many times. I've said I'll never ever help someone again because of how they reciprocated my kindness. I've said I will never love again because of how someone played football with my heart. I've threatened to delete even my social media account because of the attacks I sometimes get from people who don't understand my content. But hey, I've learned to make my nest even the piles of broken glass. If you know me, you know that I am no stranger to struggles. I've known deep pain, loneliness, betrayal, rejection, abuse. I've fought battles that some people will only ever watch in movies, but I am still standing. I have been hurt, disappointed, taken advantage of, but I refuse to put up a wall because the same wall that keeps pain out also keeps happiness out. The same wall that keeps bad people out will also keep good people out. The same wall that keeps failure and disappointments out will also keep opportunities and blessings out. Yes, betting on yourself isn't easy, but it is worth it. A couple of years ago, I came across a quote by Andrew Murphy and it changed my life. It says, "You are confined only by the walls you build yourself." When you learn to bet on yourself, the walls will come down. Paulo Coelho said something so powerful in The Alchemist, one of my favorite books of all times. He said, "Tell your heart that the fear of suffering is worse than suffering itself, and that no heart has ever suffered when it goes in search of its dream, because every second of the search is a second's encounter with God and with eternity." This is the mindset and the language of those who bet on themselves. 5 years ago, when I could no longer take the abused and I decided to walk away from a bad marriage to start life on my own with my 2 children in a foreign country, I was betting on myself. When I got retrenched from a job I held onto for dear life and decided I'm no longer seeking a job, but I'll follow my own path, I was betting on myself. My question to you today is, are you willing to bet on yourself? What is that one thing you need to do to bet on yourself? For more tips on how to bet on yourself and become unstoppable, get my best-selling book, Disrupt Yourself or Be Disrupted. It's available on Amazon and on my website. I will share the links in the descriptions below. And if you love this content, I need something from you to help this channel to grow. I need you to share the video on your favorite social media platform so that it can inspire more people. I also need you to leave a comment below and subscribe if you haven't done so. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you for watching.